What's up and welcome back to the channel. First video of 2022, a video that I have definitely been working on diligently and not procrastinating at all. Maybe I've been procrastinating it just a little bit, but you know, it's really hard to get out of that mode when there's like vacation going on and you're working on stuff and then you have to get back into the swing of things. I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel as well. It's definitely been sluggish getting back into it. Now, as many of you know, color grading has become a lot more accessible to a lot more people, especially with great programs like Davinci Resolve. And a lot of people like beginner filmmakers are really getting into color grading. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys 3 common mistakes that I've made as well getting started and in my career, and hopefully I can get you guys to not repeat those same mistakes as well, or learn from my mistakes so that you don't make them in your work. As always on this channel, we're going to be jumping into Resolve, and I'll show you guys the mistakes and also how to avoid them and what I learned from making them as well. Right before we get started though, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a like down below as well. It really helps me out. I want to grow this channel and I can't do it without your guys' help. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, I think it was last Friday, we did our first live stream of the channel and it was great. I had a couple of you guys join. We just talked about stuff, kind of the direction of the channel or the future of the channel, at least through this year, and kind of some stuff I want to talk about and what I want to do. So if you guys haven't watched it, go back and watch it. And also leave your feedback down below in the comments. So if you guys want to see stuff, I know during the live stream, someone mentioned like react videos, for example. So if you want to see that, you want to give me content to react to or some good ideas about what I can go looking for, then leave it down in the comments below or on the comments of that video. Either or works, and we can do more fun content and stuff that you guys want to see for 2022 as well. So make sure you're subscribed for that though. And with that, let's jump right into Resolve and get into it. All right, so here we are in Resolve. Now this one's a pretty big one that I see a lot of beginner colorists and filmmakers make in terms of mistakes, and that's wanting to or feeling the need to use all of the tools at your disposal in Resolve. The urge when you jump in with so many options and knobs to turn. We have 2 sets of wheels to use that interact with the image differently. Our log wheels can refine our primaries, and we all have the urge sometimes to pull qualifiers on every image that we touch. Just because it's there though doesn't mean we have to use it. Frankly, a lot of the time, a proper color management pipeline and exposure tweaks will get you 90 to 95% of the way there, and will only need minimal tweaking after that, especially nowadays with all the standards that are going on between Rec 709, a real push from some directions to head towards Rec 2020, HDR grading, and so much more. Color management is going to become the real focus of how you do your work in color grading. So let's look at a first image that we have here. We can see we're working with a log image. You can tell because it's flat and it's that way to preserve the shadows and the highlights. Now, I know that this is an Alexa shot, so we're going to need to transform this to Rec 709. So let's do the most basic of transforms here, assuming there's no need to work in a standardized working color space. So we'll drop a CST transform on the node here, and input will be Area Alexa and Area Log C. Output will select Rec 709. Right away, we're making progress. Now, I like the way that this shot looks already. We're already getting beautiful colors and we're set up for a Rec 709 output. If all of the footage you're working with is Area Alexa Log C footage, then you can simply copy this node to all your clips and you'll be well on your way with the most basic of color management adjustments. Understanding where you want to go and where you're coming from is super important, especially if you have to work in what I mentioned before, which is a standardized working color space. These mathematical transforms work to get you in a proper working color space and output color space, and we've already done so much to our image before even turning any knobs inside of Resolve. Now, this is deliberate, and working on a global level like this ensures that your grades translate very well from shot to shot, instead of jumping into just one clip on your timeline and making a lot of changes to dial in a look only on a clip-by-clip basis. A big problem that I ran into when I was first starting out was not knowing what tools do fully before I use them. I've used this example in prior videos, but put tools through different experiments first to see how they affect your image. This way, you have a better understanding of what they do and how they can get you to an end result. Looking at a grayscale image, for instance, using log wheels, if I take something like the highlights, it does something very different. You can see here on the scopes, putting in that little elbow there, then the gain wheel, if we go there, which is very linear type of adjustment. It's important to understand how both affect my image so that as a filmmaker, I know how the tools will get me to my end result that I'm looking for. Taking this one step further, what if I didn't have to use
use tools like gain or offset, but what if instead I can get very precise results from using a tool that I have more control over, like custom curves? Looking at my grayscale image, I can see what the knob I'm turning is doing, and instead I can mimic the same action through curves, but have more control over the change I'm making in exactly the specific places I want to make that change. Contrast is a great example of this. If I didn't look at how every tool behaves, I might have the intention to add a film-like contrast curve to my footage, which is typically an S curve. I can see though, when I look at this tool, it's adding contrast in a very linear way. I now know what this tool does and I can find a solution to it. So for example, I can look in settings and turn on use S-curve for contrast, and now my tools behave how I want them to. Alternatively, I can also work with my custom curves to achieve precisely what I want as well. Knowing the tools and knowing what they do for you is very important. Now, this one is sometimes hard to keep in mind, and it's one I constantly have to think about daily as I'm doing my work. Digital software is great, but sometimes the tools don't have a real world equivalent. A lot of times this can make your color grade feel disjointed from the shot, and in my opinion can become a bit distracting. More and more, I've been erring on the side of working with tools that can offer a photographic real world impact. For example, a lot of times to correct an image, we might be tempted to just grab the offset wheel, especially at the beginning of a grade, and say, oh, I'm feeling this is a bit too magenta. Let's grab this and move it in the opposite direction. Now, what we've done is just pushed green into the image artificially. That cast wasn't there before, and while it may have brought a little more balance in a color correction sort of way, I don't think it's what best suits the image. Instead, I like to get my image as far as I possibly can using tools that camera sensors work with as well, or actually affect the image in a way that I would be able to manipulate it out in the real world. Instead of just pushing a color into the image, I might start by just playing with the temp and tint controls and seeing what I can do there. Already, that's brightened up their skin tone and brought them out a bit, but it's also made the image less magenta as well and balanced it out more. This is a photographic real world change, and the overall effect doesn't look like something imposed by me after the fact on a 2D image. If I'm trying to go for more of an extreme look, I might try to go into the camera raw settings, and instead of pushing a color into the image, I'll mess with the camera color temperature to get a natural photographic result. This to me looks a lot more natural, almost as if the camera captured a warm interior environment than, say, me pushing orange into parts of the image or having to pull a key which has no real world counterpart. There's nothing necessarily wrong with using other tools, and you can still achieve a similar result, but as we expand on these concepts in future videos, you'll see thinking in a 3D way will help you develop your skills further, and in my opinion, achieve a more pleasing result overall.
Alright, so that's it for this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed for all the great content coming this year. We're definitely going to take the topics that we introduced in this video and expand upon them in future videos as well in the coming weeks. I've loved doing tutorials and talking to you guys about topics like this, but I also want to expand and do other things that you guys want to see, like live streams or other video ideas. So if you have them, like I said, drop them below and let me know, so that way we can make 2022 even better than last year. Thanks so much for the support, guys. Happy New Year to all of you, and until next time, go out there and create something. La